Oh, did I come across something strange to tell you about today? It may be a little hard to believe that a toy could be the cause of a astonishingly massive global phenomenon, especially since the very same toy has probably undergone some of the most brutal criticism because of its representation of beauty. Yes, today we're going to be talking about our favorite blonde-haired, big-boobed, walking beauty standard. You know who I'm talking about, Barbie. We're talking about Barbie. She influenced my makeup today. What's up, everybody? I'm Shelby Nave. Welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a roller coaster. I honestly don't know what I'm gonna title this video because there are just so many things that I learned about Barbie in the past 24 hours. And I decided that I really wanted to talk about it because it's really just been blowing my mind. My original idea for this video was just going to be going through the history of Barbie because obviously she's one of the most known toys in the world and has been around forever. But while I was researching for that, I made some discoveries along the way that I was genuinely just not anticipating. I'm still gonna start out with Barbie's history just because I think that part is essential for the other things that I want to talk about. But then we're just gonna dive on into all the other shit that Barbie's gotten into that I, for one, had no idea about. It's really bizarre to me. I'm gonna talk about it because someone else besides me has to think that this is also weird. I try my best to always fact check myself. If I say something today that you don't think is accurate, please nicely let me know in the comments below. We are all here to learn. And none of us know everything, especially not me. Now let's get into it. First of all, this is coming off. I turned my air conditioning off to film this video because I didn't want the sound of it in the background, but it decided to be 93 degrees in LA today, so I'm sweating. So Barbie made her debut into the world at the American Toy Fair in New York in 1959. Yeah, Barbie came out in 1959, guys. She's been around forever. She came out sporting the zebra-striped swimsuit and stilettos, like most teenagers, you know? She was created by a woman named Ruth Handler. Ruth created Barbie and was also the founder of Mattel, a huge corporation that is responsible for countless sales of Barbies over the course of years to come. In 1945, she founded Mattel with her husband Oscar, who also just so happened to be a specialist in plastic design. Their interest with coming out with a Barbie doll was actually inspired because of their daughter's fascination with paper dolls, so they decided they wanted to create a doll that actually looked like a real teenager. Ironically enough, Barbie was modeled after the German sex toy Lily. And if that's not foreshadowing, I don't know what is. Ruth decided to name the doll Barbie after her daughter, and then later on, Barbie's counterpart, Ken, we all know and love Ken, was named after their son, which is also kind of weird, just because Barbie and Ken are very clearly a couple. It's not that big of a deal, but a lot of people were mentioning that when I was researching for this video, just like, wow, Barbie and Ken are named after like siblings, but they're like a couple, you know? Barbie was released when the doll industry at the time was getting dominated by baby dolls, but it took literally no time at all. Barbie became the must-buy toy in the post-war baby boomer years. She became an instant pop culture icon, and she became one of the world's best-selling toys, along with all of her other counterpart dolls who would be selling by the billions. So it's not new that Barbie has gone under a lot of criticism for the unrealistic body standards that she represents to young girls. Her measurements are actually absurd. One source I read said that if Barbie was scaled up to be 5 feet 6 inches, my exact height, her measurements would be 39, 21, 33. And that's before her measurements were adjusted from 39, 18, 33, because they were just a little too unrealistic. So what do these numbers mean? These are the 3 main measurements of a woman's body, aka their bust, their waist, and their hips. And just for reference, me as an average 5'6" woman who probably leans towards more of like the athletic body type, my measurements are 34, 30, 39. Is that not nuts to you? That these measurements literally are like not even close to what a real person would be? When Barbie is in doll form, sure, her body proportions look normal and ideal, but realistically, like, they're not. I mean, pretty much all of her dimensions make absolutely no sense. I fell down a rabbit hole of videos of people kind of recreating what Barbie would actually look like if she was a full-scale adult.
Although Jensen is the average height of an American woman, she has a smaller than average waist. But still, it's not nearly as thin as Barbie's. As you might expect, most Barbies look nothing like average Americans.
Barbie is actually part of the National Eating Disorder Awareness Week. I saw that her bust would be 39 inches, her waist 18 inches, and her hips 33. What are these images as a child, the role models that you have as a child? It's really questioning that. That's what Barbie is here to do.
Dolls actually have an enormous effect on girls and boys' sense of themselves, their ideas about body, particular thin body ideals. If you have an ideal and you're never able to achieve it, you don't need a psychological study to show that it makes you feel bad.
One source that I read suggested that not only would Barbie's body fat and just the way that her body would have to be if she was full size suggests that she would likely have been anorexic, but also she would have probably had to have walked on all fours, meaning that realistically she would be so top heavy that she would have to walk on all fours. This is crazy to me. This is absolutely nuts to me. As an owner of small boobs, it really blows my mind that we have a toy that is intended for children representing that one of the ideals of beauty is having massive boobs. But this was actually a very intentional decision. The creators wanted her to look that way. I'll even give you a little quote right here. Back in 1977, Ruth Handler actually told the New York Times, "Every little girl needed a doll through which to project herself into her dream of her future. If she was going to do role-playing of what she would like when she was 16 or 17, it would be a little stupid to play with a doll that had a flat chest. So I gave it beautiful breasts." That's written here. That's a written record. She said that. I don't know. It's just nuts. And I just want to make it abundantly clear that Barbie doesn't have big boobs. She has enormous boobs. That's a lot. No wonder she is so top heavy and would have to actually use her hands to help walk. Barbie's ideal body is simply not achievable. But the disturbing part of it is, even though it's known information that Barbie's body and dimensions are not achievable, they're not realistic, that does not stop people from going and trying to achieve it anyway.
I'm Blondie Bennett, and I'm a real-life doll. I've had 5 boob jobs, chin liposuction, my cheeks done, and I do Botox constantly.
I want to be a perfect Susie doll. Susie doll, it's almost like a Barbie, but she has curves. I had 90 plus surgery in 24 hours.
I always get a little bit apprehensive when I have patients that come in and they've had multiple procedures. They generally are seeking something that is perhaps unobtainable.
I was the first documented case in the world ever to remove 6 of my ribs.
I have had 42 plastic surgeries and I have spent 305,000 English pounds, the equivalent of $450,000.
There's a high possibility that if you let one of these doctors touch your nose now, this will turn black and then die and fall off.
Part of my shock with Barbie is not only her reach, but her influence. There are so many people who dream to achieve the perfect ideal doll look. I'm gonna leave some videos below that you can go and check them out and watch them to their full lengths, since it's undeniably obvious that Barbie, a fictional character that is not real, still has a massive influence over people, some of which are willing to go through some really dangerous operations in order to achieve these standards that are based on something that is not real. When I saw that woman's waist after she had gotten her ribs removed, I was genuinely horrified. And this has absolutely nothing to do with me being judgmental and saying that people can't do whatever they want with their bodies. You are totally entitled to do anything and everything that you want to do to your body. I'm most certainly not going to stop you. I'm just genuinely concerned that these people may end up irreversibly harming themselves. And for what? For something that isn't real? Our ribs matter. They're there for a reason. Our curves, our tissue, our fat, that's all there for a reason. I understand certain beauty operations to take care of something, but just removing your ribs or working on something too much to the point where it may just fall off? Even in 2016, when they made Barbie a little less perfect and incorporated different body sizes and body shapes, the dimensions for these these dolls are still way off and undeniably unattainable. And this makes me especially sad because there have been studies proving that little girls, the primary demographic for Barbie, are more likely to desire the perfect body image than girls who don't play with Barbie. And unfortunately, it's not just body image that Barbie has a massive influence over. Barbie herself, being that she has her own 75 careers, is no stranger to luxurious and super expensive brands. Certain Barbie models have collaborated with Prada, Dolce & Gabbana, Gucci, Versace, Givenchy. I'm sorry, a children's toy is collaborating with Gucci? This is what I mean. It's honestly so crazy to me that Barbie, a doll, a toy, is such a known household name that she's collaborating with these giant, expensive luxury brands. Like, that's just, it's so weird to me, and that's where we're gonna eventually spiral down the rabbit hole of how Barbie is kind of treated as if she's like a real person, and that just really... Hey guys, Shelby of the future here. Upon editing this video, I didn't feel like I was getting across the point that I was trying to make of why I think it's just so gnarly that Barbie is collaborating with these luxurious brands. The main reason I found it to be shocking was just because that is just one more thing adding to the list for girls to desire something that they don't have. You know, you're not cool unless if you have a Gucci belt or a Louis Vuitton bag or whatever it is. I'm not saying that luxury brands are bad. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that they may not be the best thing to collaborate with a product that's meant for children. Because realistically, most people, especially children, cannot afford luxurious brands. Do not feel like that the things that you have or the way that you look define you as a person. And if you are constantly chasing these materialistic things to define yourself, you're never going to be satisfied. And that's why this was so crazy to me, because I don't feel like children should constantly be reminded of how perfect they're not or all of the things that they don't have. There's nothing wrong with buying luxury stuff, but there's also nothing wrong with not having that. So again, sorry for popping in. Enjoy the rest of the video. And this is a perfect segue into my next question that I have for you all, and that is, did you guys realize just how f***ing big Barbie has gotten to this day in 2020? Because I did not. One of the reasons that I was interested in researching this topic is because of a certain collaboration that I noticed while I was browsing through Ulta. I noticed that the brand Chi, a popular hair care brand, also just so happened to have a collaboration with none other than Barbie. So not only is Barbie collaborating with like these big luxury brands to come out with like exclusive Barbie clothes and just exclusive Barbies in general, but now she's also collaborating with like makeup brands and actually creating and distributing products with her name on it, and especially like a professional hair care brand that's marketed towards adults. Am I the only one who finds this weird? Legit, please tell me. Is Barbie creating these formulas and doing swatches and testing stuff out? No. Sure, I feel like many people could argue that the whole nostalgia of Barbie and the brand of Barbie is the reason they would collaborate, since Barbie has been around for so long. The only thing that's weird about that to me though is like Barbie is still a toy brand. In my mind, I feel like everything Barbie comes out with should be intended for children. And I don't know, this maybe could just be very, very biased of me. I've never been a fan of Barbie. I was Queen stuffed animal. So maybe I'm just, you know, I don't have that emotional connection and I don't feel that nostalgia towards Barbie, and that very well could be true. But that's why it's shocking to me though that I didn't realize that she had gotten this big. It wasn't until I was mindlessly scrolling online and I'm seeing Barbie collaborations for adults. I don't know, that was just my personal experience that inspired my idea to explore Barbie's reach across the world. And what I ended up finding was the actual mind. For example, did you know that Barbie had a YouTube channel? I know in the past I remember seeing like little animated cartoons of Barbie and all of her friends, but it wasn't until recently that I discovered her YouTube channel that has over 8 million subscribers. She has morning routine videos with Ken that have over 10 million views. And a lot of these videos aren't made by the brand Barbie. They're made just by like other Barbie related accounts. And there's videos upon videos upon videos having to do with Barbie, a lot of which have millions of views. I saw a Barbie hacks video that had 47 million views. That's like so hard for me to fathom that many people watching a Barbie video. It is no denying that children who are using the internet are the primary traffic source for these videos, and therefore clearly have a huge effect on Barbie as a business. That's why I feel like there's this little bit of a gray area with Barbie, because she's intended for children. Her main following base and everything is kids. She clearly has a large influence over kids, which is why it makes me even more curious that the same exact doll would star on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and even worse, under the campaign Unapologetic. You guys, Sports Illustrated, the magazine that holds a bunch of very sexualized photos of models, primarily marketed towards men, is collaborating with Barbie. Why is a toy intended for children starring on this magazine? And better yet, why is she starring for a campaign that's titled Unapologetic? What does Barbie have to apologize for? We hope nothing, since she's the role model for all of our children. I don't know, it's just truly astonishing to me that a brand that's based off of a fake person has so much influence over a lot of people in a lot of different ways. Like, it's no denying that people are obsessed with her, children are obsessed with her, and I think that, you know, people should really start being careful with this gray area that we have with Barbie, since she is so old now. So I do think she brings a lot of nostalgia for some people who grew up with her, but I think that, like, she's already over-criticized for being highly sexualized, and her beauty standards and body standards are way off. Like, this is a lot of negative things to be putting in the minds of kids. And I'm not saying Barbie's bad. I'm not saying Barbie's bad per se. We watched those clips of people who are trying to vastly change their bodies to something unachievable. But I just know that I wouldn't want my kid to be influenced so much by something that they may grow up and hurt themselves. That's really the bottom line. Alright guys, that's actually all I have on Barbie today. This video was kind of chaotic, mainly just because it was a lot of information coming from different ways, and I don't even entirely know what direction it's gonna end up taking. Please leave your thoughts, your comments, or any other information that you have on Barbie that's just like weird and mind-blowing in the comments below, because I am genuinely interested. If you like this video, definitely give me a thumbs up down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe when you're down there. It really does help me out and helps support my channel. If you'd like to hang out with me in between uploads, I've linked all of my social media in the description bar. You can go give me a follow if you want. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you the next time I upload a new video.